Alright guys, here we are to talk about episode 6, season 2 of the Twilight Zone. This is a classic episode.
Holy shit.
That I remember entirely.
I'm so fucking happy. It turned out that I didn't remember it entirely, but if you think about the Twilight Zone, and I feel bad for not having mentioned this before, but like this is one of those like top 10 episodes where like you say, yeah, the one where she's she's hot and everyone else is ugly or something like that.
Yeah.
And like that's more or less what I remembered. I forgot the whole part about the communism or whatever angle of it, which was super cool to like see and all that stuff. No, this is amazing. I'm so happy that we finally got to an episode, and not just good, but like one of the iconic ones. Do you disagree?
Yeah. No, this is a thing. I think like the picture of that dude's like like their weird like piggy faces.
Yeah,
like is a Twilight Zone thing. Where
this fucking iconic.
Yeah. I like that the first shot when you see the girl, you're like, oh! And like it's not like, I think everyone knew this because of how the thing's shown. You're not showing any faces the whole episode.
But it's really well done.
It is well done.
It's so well done. And they obviously like recorded the, I think that they had the actors, like record the audio, because it sounds like it's very close to like the mic. It sounds like it's very like studio ADR, like
you
recording.
You think that those mouth things like screw up their ability to talk?
Well, his mouth's definitely moving, so it might just be overdubbing himself later when you can see his face. But I think because you weren't going to be able to hear her right in the bandages, so I think they had her dub herself, and they said let's just dub everyone so that it will all sound like consistent. So it gave the whole thing this weird feeling of it being like a radio play or something like that. And it really worked for me with not seeing the faces for that reason. And like you can't see her face, so you can't see anyone's face. It was this weird like artistic thing to where like you obviously knew something was up. And it's the fucking Twilight Zone, so you know something's going to happen or whatever.
Even if this wasn't the Twilight Zone, it would be like, well, something suspect is happening here.
It's obviously not going to be what I would naturally think it would be, but I think they did like a really good job with like what it like was or whatever the fuck.
I do think it would be amazing if it ended and they take the bandage off and she is disfigured and that is like it just everything you expect. It's like, oh, because that would, what kind of twist would that be? That's the ultimate
untwist twist.
You'd never think the obvious would be coming ever. I wonder how many things have ever done that where it's like they hit you on the head with it.
I think that's what you would do like now almost, or you would do that like in a Black Mirror or something like that, which I haven't watched any of, and I probably should. You would
New season coming out soon.
You would like build it up and really like do like a bait and switch where it's very clear. Everyone thinks it's this, but but that's an insidious like bad thing, and they're lying, and the government's lying, and it's all a lie, and our hero is working like against it, and then at the end, his plans get foiled and he gets captured. And oh no, like is there a chance for freedom in this world? And it turns out he was totally just crazy, and like everyone was like right. And 100% correct, and it's like, oh fuck, or whatever. One of those like
I do like that. Like it also kind of shines light on like beauty is just whatever we assign it to be. Like
it's called Eye of the Beholder.
If you look throughout the years, different things have been in fashion, and now we think are cringy or not in fashion anymore. Like I like how like back in the day it was like, no, if you were a heavyset person, it was like, well that's a sign of the fact that you have food and you survive and those childbirth and hips and whatnot.
Fat, pale, tiny feet, pluck all of your eyebrows and eyelashes out. People were monsters.
I do love the fucking, was it Chinese or Japanese foot binding? Who did that?
It's crazy.
Oh my god,
the foot's like folded around itself.
And once every couple of years,
worse.
An image pops up, and I'm like, oh my god, they're like destroyed. Their toes are like just crushed into their feet.
Yeah,
it's like. I didn't realize this until I think like sometime this year I read an article. They would break the foot and bend it over.
Put it into the thing.
Yeah, like you thought they just crammed it in there and like it grew that way. No, they would force it that way.
Like as a kid, I think it's like presented to you like, oh, they used to like make them wear tiny shoes so they had tiny feet.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh man, I need new shoes. These shoes feel tight. Oh no, but no, it was so much more terrifying. Like the girls would be like bedridden until like like they started to heal from that first like thing or whatever.
How it was always explained to me was that it was a sexual thing. They liked tiny feet because the emperors, whatever, had, like wife had tiny feet, so it was like, oh, that's what we all want. But then I read an article that said, no, it was an industrial thing. So by breaking all these women's feet, they were trapped to sit, and they would do jobs like the sewing and the this and the that, like these simple jobs, and they would never leave the house. So you'd have these permanent workers to do the laundry and do the
I think it was like, if you want to call it cultural, like it made everything work out or whatever the fuck. because it made them more like subservient. It made them more like whatever the fuck. And
you can't run if you can't run.
And I think it became desirable as well. You'd be like, holy shit, look at that bitch's feet. Her feet are so tiny, or whatever.
I can't imagine ever seeing them outside of the shoe and being like, oh yeah,
it was
that disfigured horrible squid shoved in a box. Like, what is that?
No, it's like a fashion thing now, where girls wear high heels and their toes can be crammed into that, and they have sore feet at the end of the day.
Sure.
So everyone's like, look at the definition in those calves and all that stuff.
God.
So fashion's terrifying, but that's what's, I think, good about this episode too, is there's a built-in misdirection. Because the whole time they're talking about who can decide what what beauty is, and they take it this like step further, right? Because this is like a ripe time for anti-communist stuff, where it's like, well, what if we all had to conform and like be the same, and it was a future dystopia and shit like that, and like being ugly was a crime, and don't worry, we're like the state will sponsor your like corrective surgery, but if not, we'll like ship you somewhere else. That alone is like Twilight Zone material. But they even made the point that much stronger with the reveal that because if she was just ugly and everyone else is just normal, it's still terrifying because wait, you're being shipped off for being too ugly?
It's almost scarier
That's crazy.
that way.
Well, no, but this makes the point that like, well, but what if our definition of ugly and beautiful wasn't even matching with today's like thoughts about that? What if it was this crazy thing where everyone's expected to be this weird pig-faced lip monster?
Yes. How would you couldn't even get it like can they do like I know they can do plastic surgeries to make things like smaller. They'd be like, oh, your nose is too big, and they can cut your nose down and like Michael Jackson you up. But like if you needed to make it bigger, bulbouser, and like twisted to the right, can they even do that? Would they be like cutting parts of your ears and your elbow and shove it over there?
So that was like the science behind it, right? Is like they kind of hand wave, surgery is not possible due to your skeletal structure and weird stuff like that. You're like, holy shit, what does she look like? Oh my god, like that's crazy or whatever. But then when you see them, you're like, oh, okay. Like there's not enough face to hang all that gross shit on or something like that. But that's the good shit you see. It's flipped into fucking, oh my god.
Yeah, wonderful.
No, I'm super into this. I'm very happy that we got here. I was like, yeah, boy.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say about it because it's kind of a cut and dry standard Twilight Zone episode. Woman starts off in the hospital and faces bandage. You're led to believe she's horribly disfigured and ugly. Twist is she's not.
And she's hot too. Sometimes someone makes a thing where like the hot one's not, and you're like, she's supposed to be the hot one.
Yeah, she's script hot.
when they first take off those bandages and she's looking up at the doctor, I was like, all right, she's actually hot. That's awesome.
Yeah.
This sells for me. And she like runs away, and there's the like fearless leader on the intercom. We must conform to being a pig-faced man. And like she runs and runs and runs directly into the arms of a beautiful man with a 32-inch waist who's like, I'm going to help you. You'll feel love for the first time ever. And she kind of like gives in and goes, oh, okay, and all that stuff. Like, hey.
One of my biggest cringy moments is like when the script says like, most beautiful girl in the world, or like, tough guy. And like you see the guy and it's like, he doesn't look any more tough than the guy he's bullying. I don't understand why this is happening.
But like Bad to the Bone is playing, and he's getting off his motorcycle, or like the girl's walking in slow motion, and all the guys are like dropping things. Oh my god, she's so hot.
Maybe if I looked like you, but then like the main character is actually prettier, and you're like, what the hell?
Just take off your glasses. You're not even like a nerdy chick. Come on.
Yeah, that kind of stuff annoys me where I'm like, you didn't have enough time to cast a proper person?
Yeah, but I liked this. I thought that both of them, and like, I liked the idea that she would recoil from him because her normalness is the pig face ugliness. So she had to be like, oh, I guess, ugh, okay.
Yeah, when really he's like a beautiful man.
But he's so ugly or something like that. But he's like the guy you'd see in like the music video at like the beach or something, some normal dude-looking dude. No, it was awesome. Fucking top to bottom. The communism angle, though, was such this unexpected thing. Did you remember all that from like back in the day?
I think I remember that episode almost verbatim.
Like minute for minute. Yeah. I only plucked that one like reveal out of it or something like that. So having there be all this other meat to it, because sometimes you remember the awesome twist, and then like the whole time you're just waiting for the fucking twist or whatever. But here we're treated to this like weird debate. He's like, I've seen her soul, past all that disfigurement experiment, and the nurse is like, "Doctor, that's treason. Stop it!" Like it's this weird, like sick future, and you're like, "What is all this? All this content in this episode? It's so like meaty and good, you know."
I wonder if they could just wear masks, like ugly masks, and survive.
No, it makes no sense. Like the whole idea even is that it doesn't even make sense. Like you could just like it only makes sense in this future dystopia where like we all have to look this way for like reasons or something like that. That we've decided that there's value in everyone being the same, and if you're different, it fucks with the system. We gotta
Did I forget something though? Like do we get any backstory before it starts? Like she's in the hospital, her face is wrapped up.
Yeah.
It's not like that's new. She's like 25 years old.
What do you mean? What?
We're like.
About her life, or about
like how did she get to that point?
Yeah, they mentioned. Okay, so like as I took
that
it,
I'm forgetting.
There's like a state-sponsored program to fix people that are like hard, like unbelievably. Oh
no, that I remember. But like,
and she's and she's been there like 11 times, right? They've been, they keep trying to fix her, and I guess it keeps failing, and like she can't lead like a normal life because of this disability and all that stuff.
But like, what were they trying? Nothing. Like what is her face bandaged from? What procedure did they try to do? Because none of that makes sense. I'm like, shouldn't she be she shouldn't be a perfect-looking, beautiful person. She should be a scarred, mangled mess, or like drippy or something.
That's like the hand wavy, I call it, thing where it's like, what about this? And they just go, I'm gonna wave my hands and wave that. Oh, never mind. No, don't see that, because they have to add this dialogue talking about we have to give you shots and treatments, and they respond in different way. But surgery is not an option for you because of some reason. Like they have to make it out to be that.
None of it makes sense. Like how would you get to be at this point in life being this disfigured monster? Shouldn't you have been approached to like other things like long ago? Shouldn't these surgery attempts have been made like when you were young?
Yeah.
I guess I can make sense. Your face has to be fully formed before we can do it. Maybe
the only way for it to make sense is if you accept the idea that there was some treatment that was done, like chemically, some weird science treatment onto your face, but that surgery was not literally like an option, and if the treatment fails, it has no effect on you. That sort of concept, right?
But like, I can't understand why you need to be wrapped in the first place. Like, light agitates the serum. It must be wrapped.
Yeah, honestly,
like
something
couple stupid words would have made that a little bit better for me.
He said something like, you must, like, I have to take the bandages off gradually because these treatments could affect your vision or something like that. They kind of hint around.
That's just because they want to slowly pull them off.
No. All that's just like in service of the reveal or something like that. Yeah. But I don't think that the whole thing falls apart because of that.
Doesn't. It doesn't.
It's more or less just the.
I just always hate when I'm like, no, your effects were good. You could have just solved all my real issues with a couple of words.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, those are free.
No, I mean they try to do that. I don't know what the right balance is all the time of because sometimes people go overboard and they're explaining all this bullshit.
That drives me nuts.
Just like, okay, I get it. We just needed to get to this point to that point. Fucking shut up.
But I do think if you had to have an error, I would prefer an error on the side of too much explanation than no explanation for things. Not that this one needed a ton, just a little bit here and there.
Totally agree. I think all in all, though, this is one of the highest scoring episodes
it's a good
episode. We've watched.
I like and that face reminds me of like the face that was earlier made in the what is it, the Phantom of the Opera? Like it has like that kind of like weird twisty face.
Oh yeah, and it's like scientifically ugly. Like it's like asymmetrical, has weird like your brain triggers it's like a very well done, reasonable but very ugly version of a human where it's vaguely human, but you just get triggered. Like your instincts are like, stay away from that person. They have some sort of disease,
like a nuclear mutant.
Yeah, it's like that mutated weird. Like it's perfect for this, and like based on whatever budget and like level they had, they could do like 8 to 10 people, and they did them all, and they had them in different spots. And it was like, okay, like it was like, all right, I'm good. Because what if there were just 3 that that wouldn't sell it, but they don't have the money to do like hundreds or whatever. So I feel like they hit the nail on the head.
Agreed. This is a good episode. I think that's all there is to say about this episode. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Did I question? I care about you. And did I question? I care about you.